What's up guys, Scorpop here. Today I'm going to be explaining how to get an invitation to the Brawlers Guild and how to complete every single fight that's going to be available in Phase 2 of Miss Pandaria Classic. There will be more fights available, I believe, in the phase after Throne of Thunder. There will eventually be more fights added, but for now, I'm going to show you guys how to complete the Brawlers Guild. Now the first thing you're going to be looking at here is actually getting an invitation to the Brawlers Guild. There are currently, in Miss Pandaria, 2 different ways you can get an invite. First method is just simply buying the invite off the black market auction house. There's this building in the Veiled Stair. I'll show you where it is on the map. You go here, and you can buy the Bloodstained invitation. She could have as low as 1, but she does go up to almost, I feel like 5 or 6 invites can go up at a time, so especially at the start, hopefully you've got some gold to be able to outbid people and try and win this invitation. If you don't want to do this, there is a second method to getting the invite. There are 3 rare spawn NPCs located in Krasarang Wilds that drop the invite. However, it's a pretty low drop rate, so if you can, this is your alternative to paying money at the black market auction house. For Horde, the 3 NPCs' names are Dallin Nightbreaker, Disha Fear Warden, Mavis Harms. These fights, if you're soloing them, are pretty straightforward and easy. The only one I would watch out for is Mavis Harms. She actually has a Mortal Throw ability that'll do a lot of damage if you are in range. So if you're a range class, just be sure to stand right next to her and you should be good to go. If you're Alliance, the 3 NPCs you're looking for are Car Warmaker, Muerta, and Ubuntu the Shade. These will be spawning in the Horde area, so if you're Alliance, be sure to go to them and kill them at their locations. Next, I'm going to be looking at some hunter-specific stuff here. These are the talents and glyphs I decided to pick up for all of these fights. Never had to change any of them. This build will work for every single fight. If you know me in my other videos, you'll know that I'm pretty good at soloing in terms of old content and going for the toughest available difficulty, so all of these were pretty non-threatening, to be honest. Up until rank 6, I don't think I wiped a single time, and I pretty easily one-shot every single fight. So if you look at my other videos and you're familiar at all with hunter soloing, none of these challenges are going to be really that challenging for you, other than maybe the last 2 ranks. Despite that, even these beginning bosses, I'll kind of explain what you have to do, even if you're under-geared, not doing enough DPS, or anything. One thing I will say, though, is that during the Brawlers Guild, you can party with other members and receive class buffs, so if you've got other people here also working on Brawlers Guild, go ahead and send them an invite, and you can use that to buff each other up. Alright, so this is the first boss, Bruce. Bruce is extremely easy. You shouldn't die to him. He only has 1 mechanic. He has an ability called Chomp Chomp, and if you stand in front of him, it will do a ton of damage. So if you see the cast, don't be in front of him. Next is Vian the Volatile. This guy really doesn't do a whole lot. He does do a line of fire in front of him if he manages to cast this ability, but he doesn't have that much health. Just DPS him down, and if you see the fire, move out of it. Next is Goredome. This boss is extremely easy as well. He has 1 ability you need to watch out for, Lumbering Charge, and this is indicated by a red circle on the ground. Just move out of the red circle and DPS him down. Next here's Dungeon Master Vishas. This guy's extremely easy as well. He has a couple abilities that buff him, so he does do more damage over time, but he is susceptible to CC, so if you can kite him around, slow him, stun him, do everything you can, and hopefully he should go down. Next, here's the penguin Dippy. Dippy can be tricky if you don't know what you're doing. Dippy has an ability called Peck, and it has a cast bar. If he gets this off, it will do a ton of damage and probably one-shot you, but it can be interrupted by any ability, so all you have to do is use all your fast, instant cast abilities to bring him down as fast as possible. Don't knock him into a corner, though, or else he might get one off, since that does not knock him back and it won't get rid of the cast bar. So don't knock him into a corner, and just DPS him down, use your fast abilities. Next here is Kirrawk. He attacks with tornadoes. If you get hit by one, you'll get launched in the air. However, you won't go down crashing. You'll slowly fall down, so it's not really a threatening fight. Just DPS him down, try to avoid the tornadoes, and you should be good to go. Next is Fran and Riddoh. The only thing they really do together is drop mines. The big guy does melee damage, and the goblin will throw explosives. Just kill them both together, and you'll be good to go. Next is the dinosaur that looks a lot like King Crush, King Kulaka. This guy just hits hard, but he can be rooted and slowed, so kite him around if you're range maybe, and if you're melee, just pop all your defensives and burn them down. Next is the ooze Blat. Now Blat creates copies of himself that do hit hard, however, they move very slowly. So what you can do, especially if you're melee, is kite them around. The main boss you can then burn down, and you can slowly kite the copies, and that's all you really need to do. Next here is Sanoriak. This boss is pretty straightforward. He has a couple of fire-based abilities, namely a firewall. All you gotta do is move out of the fireballs, and if you can, interrupt his casts. Other than that, just burn him down. Next is Ix, which is another very straightforward boss. Only one ability you need to watch out for, and that's Devastating Thrust. Again, if you're in front of the boss, you will be one-shot by this ability. Although the good thing about this boss is it starts you off at 20% health, so if you have any execute abilities, you're going to be doing a lot more DPS than usual. Mazhareen probably looks familiar to all hunters out there. It looks like the rare spawn pet Loknahak. For this fight, it's very straightforward. The more you damage her, the more damage she does. So if she's at low health, she's going to be doing a lot more damage. So it's probably best to save your defensives and pop all your CDs when she's at about half health maybe, and try to just burn her down. Crush is a Yeti that looks very similar to the first boss in TOGC. He does mediocre damage, and then he'll start to charge you. You need to move out of the way, and then he's going to hit the wall and stun himself. And this is a good time to DPS. He has quite a bit of health, but this is basically it. Rinse and repeat, and he's pretty straightforward. Next is Leona Earthwind, which has a lot of druid abilities. She casts a solar beam, all you gotta do is move out of this, and she also summons ads. You can stun, slow, use a frost trap maybe, and CC these ads if you really want to, but otherwise, I just opt to burn her down. You can also try stunning her when she casts the summon on the ads, but I didn't opt to do this, but you certainly can. Dominika the Illusionist is a boss that, by herself, isn't very threatening. However, as the fight progresses, she will summon copies of herself that have 1 HP each. If the fight lasts a while, you definitely want to kill these. They aren't too threatening since each of them only has 1 HP. A multi-shot will knock them out, and you can just continue burning her down. Just don't let the copies get out of control, and you should be good to go. Deeken is another very straightforward fight. He's a mecha gnome that summons lightning all around the arena. All you really need to do is just watch out for the lightning, move around it. You can also jump over it, however, I wouldn't really recommend this. Just DPS him on the move while you can. Stay away from the lightning, and that's it. Millie Watt has 2 abilities you need to watch out for. The first one is called Electric Dynamite, which will place a lightning circle under your feet. You need to move out of this, but this will come into play later. The second ability she uses is Mega Fantastic Discombobulate. Now when she uses this ability, what you're actually going to do is move into the lightning circle right when she casts this ability. The reason why is she puts a stun out, and you will die from this unless you take damage. So you want to intentionally take damage due to being in the lightning circle, and then move out, and then continue to DPS her down. That's all there is to it. Fjoll is another straightforward boss. He summons purple circles that'll quickly kill you if you stand in them. So as soon as you see these, move out of them. He also does a knockback if you're melee, so make sure to watch behind you as well. Other than that, just burn him down. He's pretty straightforward. Proboskus is actually very, very easy if you've killed any of the rare spawn Jinyu that are around Pandaria. He has the exact same abilities. The two you need to watch out for is Torrent and Rain Dance. Torrent can be interrupted, save your interrupts for this. Rain Dance's ability that he casts, and there will be water balls that spawn from him and go around and hit everywhere around the room. Just move around and try not to get hit by these, and once it's done casting, if you're melee, you can go back in, or if you're ranged, you should be attacking the whole time. Just don't get hit by these. Next boss is these 4 Leper Gnomes. They will do a stacking debuff on you if you are near them. So, if you're melee, you want to attack the lowest health one first and kill that one. If your stacks are getting too high, probably around 5 or 6, you want to move out. They will slowly follow you, but you can stay away from them long enough for your stacks to drop, and then go back in and just try your best to kill them as fast as you can. Just keep your stacks under control and you should be good to go. Next boss is Yikkan Izu. First off, you want to interrupt the spell Disorienting Shriek whenever she starts casting it. Other than that, this boss is all about ad control. You can do this in 2 different ways. You can either completely ignore the ads and burn her down. Make sure you be very careful not to kill any of the ads. Otherwise, if you kill more than 5 at once, she will enrage and do a ton of damage. So, if you're going to kill the ads, try to get them right when they spawn and only kill less than 4 at a time. If you kill more than that, she will permanently enrage and deal a ton of damage. So, just be very careful with the ads, and you should have this one under control. Akama from Black Temple makes an appearance here. He'll summon some Spirit Wolf ads. You can kill these whenever they spawn just to get them out of the way. Otherwise, he will keep spawning them throughout the fight. One other thing to keep a note here is he puts a buff up on himself that will increase his damage. However, you can CC him and kite him around whenever he has this buff up, so keep that in mind. Smash Hoofstomp is a straightforward one. He'll have 2 goblins on his shoulders, and he uses a shield wall ability. You're going to burn down the 2 goblins first. The reason for this is each goblin you kill increases his damage taken by 50%. So with both goblins dead, he'll be taking 100% increased damage, and then you can focus on killing him. Whenever he uses the shield wall, get behind him. Otherwise, he will not take any damage from the front. Next up is Unguloxx, which is a giraffe boss. Now, this boss hits extremely, extremely hard, and the only thing you can really do is use any kind of slows or anything you have in order to slow him down and kite him as best as you can. As a hunter, you can use Concussive Shot, and that's basically it. This one's really straightforward. He doesn't really have many mechanics other than just hitting super hard. So if you have any defensives, pop them, pop all your CDs, kill them as fast as you can, and with any luck, he should go down. Next up is Max Megablast and Bobble. These 2 bosses share a health pool, so damaging one will damage the other. Now, they have a lot of health, and if you have pretty good gear, you should be good to just DPS them down. However, there is one mechanic that'll help with the DPS check, and that's using Max's rockets in order to damage Bobble. So you're going to stand the entire fight standing on top of Bobble, and then whenever the red circle goes out under you, you're going to, of course, move out of it because that's where he's going to fire his rocket, and then it'll actually damage the other boss if you manage to move him into it. Next boss is the Dark Summoner. When he first comes into the arena, he will actually be immune to damage. What you need to do is kill one of the ghosts that spawn, but if a ghost reaches you, you will be insta-killed in one shot. You've probably also noticed that there's a light beam wherever you face. You need to use this light beam, look at one of the ghosts. This will temporarily stun the ghost and you can damage it down. Once the ghost is dead, the Dark Summoner will be vulnerable and you'll be able to damage him down. You might need to repeat this cycle 2 or 3 times in order to kill the boss, but that's basically it. Battletron, as a hunter, is actually one of the harder fights in here. You're going to need a lot of self-healing in order to kill this boss. So, he'll summon purple orbs and they'll slowly move around him. At the start of the fight, he won't do anything while he's summoning the orbs, so this is your chance to get in as much damage as you possibly can. If you look carefully at the purple orbs, you'll notice a small opening where you'll be able to attack him, and you'll be able to sit there and run in a circle and move at the same time, and just do as much damage as you can. If you're having a lot of trouble with this fight, I'd actually highly recommend speccing into Marksman or Beastmaster instead. The reason for that is you can pick a Spirit Beast and be able to heal yourself with Spirit Mend, and with extra heals from Chimera Shot, that'll be invaluable in keeping you alive here. However, if your gear is really good, you'll be able to do as much damage as possible, and then you'll be able to sit here and feign death actually, and tick up with Spirit Bond in order to keep yourself alive, and then continue DPSing the boss. You can see here in the video, I actually did this trick in order to keep myself alive as survival. Meatball here is actually a really easy boss in comparison to Battletron. All you've got to do is run around grabbing all these purple orbs that spawn around the boss. He'll spawn one every time you hit him with an attack. Every purple orb will increase your damage and give you a stacking buff to yourself. You want to run around and grab as much of these as you possibly can, and once your stacks get really high, pop all your cooldowns and damage them down as fast as you can. He has a 1 minute enrage timer, so make sure you deal as much damage as you possibly can. Next up, we'll be talking about the 4 rare bosses that you can fight by buying their cards at the card vendor. Despite being a rare boss, Epicus Maximus is actually a pretty straightforward fight. He only has 3 real mechanics you need to watch out for. First of all, he'll summon yellow circles on the ground throughout the fight. Do not stand in these or you'll take a lot of damage. The next thing he'll do is cast an ability called Destructo Laser. This is a red laser that slowly moves towards you. All you have to do is not be near it. Whenever you see it, move away. Last and certainly not least is the ability Blue Crush. Whenever you see this, you need to interrupt it. It's a very quick cast, so make sure you are always on your toes. Watch his cast bar. As soon as you see that Blue Crush, instantly interrupt. Next up is Millhouse Monostorm. This guy is probably the toughest DPS check in this whole place right now. He has 47 million health and you need to kill him in 2 minutes. In order to do that, you'll need the help of the 2 power crystals that he actually summons throughout the fight. When he summons them, you'll actually be able to stand in between him and the crystal, intercept the crystal, and the buff will go directly into you. It'll stack up and keep stacking as long as you're in between them. However, you also want to either kill the other one. If there's 2 close by, you'll be able to get the buff from both of them. However, if they're spread apart, you want to kill the other one so that he doesn't get the buff. If his stacks also get too high, he'll do more and more damage and eventually he'll be able to kill you. One cheeky thing you can do if you're a pet class is actually have your pet take the other second one as well. You want to use a move to command in order to do this. Move your pet in between and you take the other one, and you'll both be able to benefit from them without the boss getting any stacks. Keep this up and keep your damage high. Blow your cooldowns and use your second potion accordingly, and you'll be able to hopefully get this boss before the 2-minute timer is up. Zen'shar is a fight that's going to be all about movement. You want to start out by mass AoEing the small eyes until they're all dead. You want these out of the way as fast as possible so you can DPS Zen'shar himself down, who is the big eye. He's going to have these green lasers all around the room, and you need to avoid all of them. If you get hit by one, it's pretty much an insta-kill. He'll also periodically drop pink circles right on your feet, and you always need to move out of them. So again, this fight is all about movement. Personally, as a ranged player, I found the best spot to be over on this southeast corner. You can see where I'm standing. It's pretty easy to avoid all of the green lasers, and Just try your best to maneuver around the pink circles and the green lasers the best you can, all while dealing as much damage as you can to the boss. Last but certainly not least is the fight Disruptron. This fight is really hard and is probably bugged at the moment. He's supposed to have two different mechanics. There's these red lasers that will always be active during the fight, and you have to jump over every single one of them. I try not to jump in place. Wherever it's moving, I try to move towards so that it ensures that I always jump over the laser. But the one thing here that appears to be bugged is these yellow circles that are supposed to appear. They're supposed to appear and move all throughout the room, but it looks like they're invisible at the moment. So sometimes if you just stand in a spot, you'll just insta-die for no reason. Hopefully this gets fixed by Blizzard soon, but I got really lucky on this fight, and I just stood in one spot basically, and they never hit me. So if we're going to hope for anything, let's hope for a fix from Blizzard for this, because this fight is made a lot harder with the invisible obstacles. That's going to be it for the Brawlers Guild, guys. I hope you enjoyed my short explanation for every single boss, and make sure to subscribe if you want more guides in the future. Take care, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.